Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather. In this update, we've got a series of disturbances that'll bring strong thunderstorms, damaging winds, even a possible derecho forming, along with record heat for many, as we'll detail out the next 7 days so you can plan ahead. Good morning, everyone. This is your May the 14th update. Man, we got a lot going on. Hope everyone's having a fabulous weekend out there. So I'm going to detail out the next 7 days. So if you are new to the channel, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you like detailed weather breakdowns. So let's delve into the details this morning and take a look at the overall setup for today on your Saturday. We've got some marginal risk for stronger thunderstorms into the heat of the afternoon, right along this boundary here where the dry line can get active again and parts of West Texas into western Oklahoma, as well as into central and western Kansas here. But we also have a boundary going to be floating across portions from, say, Louisiana all the way up into portions of Michigan here. Will kick off some stronger thunderstorms kind of in the heat of the afternoon. But as we get into tomorrow, a little bit stronger disturbances, especially is going to develop in the morning hours, could be some very strong winds along with it. Right now, they do have a slight risk in place for strong to severe thunderstorms, essentially from Oklahoma to Kansas, all the way through Arkansas, back into Missouri here, into portions of southern Illinois, southern Indiana. That just extends all the way into western Tennessee, as far south into where that squall line is going to be entering portions of northern Mississippi. And that'll be on the day on your Sunday. So let's kind of break this thing down for you. We're going to do a little bit different this morning and kind of break it down. We'll head out west first, and then we'll hit the central US, and then we'll head off east. So for this morning, this is the overall radar for about 8 o'clock this morning, that we do see some showers and thunderstorms. It's kind of a light to moderate showers here off the west coast. They've got a series of troughs bringing, a lot of cooler conditions for them. And yes, they're going to be seeing some rain showers this morning. But as we walk you through kind of into the later end of the morning, you can see those showers, and some stronger thunderstorms are embedded. And you can actually see some of those blue areas into Idaho there. Yeah, it could actually even still be cold enough to snow in the higher elevations. But yeah, pretty much bone dry today in much of California, into Nevada, much of the desert Southwest. I don't really see much of any rain, just kind of just very dry conditions for you as we get into the evening hours. You can see those showers kind of pinwheel across through portions of Montana, getting into Wyoming with these kind of series of disturbances that are going to be moving across, heading into your, as you wake up on Sunday morning. We have yet another disturbance going to be pinwheeling across into off the coast there into far northwest into Washington, in places like into Seattle. This will fishtail into southern portions of British Columbia, but for the most part, much of the areas out west will be fairly dry really over this weekend, with these disturbances kind of well to the north, bringing all those cooler conditions to them. We could see some stronger storms trying to break out with a little bit more instability, and to around your 10 o'clock time frame on Sunday evening in parts of Idaho there. But for the most part, these storms aren't going to be too much to deal with, at least out west, for this weekend. So let's take a look at the temperatures. So this morning, it's pretty comfortable, if not downright chilly. This is the coldest temperatures in the country right now, well off the west here. Widespread, 40s and 30s for much of Washington here, getting into Idaho, as well as into Montana. Even some 20s showing up this morning, and to places into Wyoming. Well, much of the south is well into the 50s along the coast into California, and then much of the desert Southwest is essentially right around 60, 65 degrees. But as we take you through the afternoon hours, yeah, we heated up in a big way down in there into the deserts, hitting the 90s, even the triple digits as you get towards your peak heating, 4 o'clock in the afternoon area. But yeah, it's pretty comfortable up here. I mean, that's 50s highs, folks. I mean, that's not bad. That's actually pretty chilly still for all the cooler conditions. Going to be continuing to hang on for much of the Northwest, while as we take you through the evening hours, you can see those temperatures still really kind of chilly. Much of Montana, back into Wyoming there as we wake up on Sunday morning. Kind of the same deal. That cold air continued to remain in place for much of Montana, extended into parts of the Dakotas there. Back into Utah, we got 50s, 52, 55 degrees. Much of New Mexico there is, essentially in the 50s and the 60s as we, take you through the heat, the daytime hours into the overnight hours on Sunday, and then into the afternoon hours again. We still, man, widespread 100s, and because once these 100s start down here in the deserts, it doesn't seem to let up really all summer long. But yeah, much of the kind of 60s and 70s, that's actually pretty comfortable conditions, especially as you get into the afternoon hours. That'll be on Sunday for your weekend, and then it'll wind itself down and kind of cool off as we obviously get into the evening hours. And then of course you wake up on Monday morning again, bam, you got all the cooler conditions still continue to hang on for you. But it definitely gets a lot more active as you swing into our central US, where we got these multiple disturbances that are be coming across. So for this morning, we got some little showers and thunderstorms down here into portions of Arkansas here, as well as in portions of Mississippi. And as we get into the, kind of take you through the day into the let me stop at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the daytime heating hours. Yeah, we could be seeing some kind of little just popcorn variety isolated bubbler starting to pop up in parts of Texas where the dry line could get active, down here into portions of Missouri, up here into Indiana here, with some showers and stronger thunderstorms, and just kind of popcorns, just kind of scattered, isolated storms. That's why they do just have that marginal risk in place. So some of these could be on some, gustier winds. You got to have at least 60 miles an hour to have a severe thunderstorm, and some of these could be kind of reaching kind of minimal criteria. That's for today, but I think things do get active, especially as you get into the overnight hours. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. So let me stop the clock here. This is in portions of Nebraska, heading up into portions of Iowa here. This is the beginning stages of, it could be a kind of a nasty squall line, little mesoscale convective system, going to be pinwheeling down south. And as this really starts to kind of get its act together towards the 5-6 o'clock in the morning time frame, this could be turned into a pretty significant squall line breaking out with some very gusty winds, 60, 70 miles an hour. If this thing starts to what they call bow out, we saw that yesterday in parts of South Dakota, or at least a couple days ago, where they did have a derecho event. The winds actually peaked all the way up to 107 miles an hour. So this could turn the stage. I don't think it's as significant of that event, but some of these winds could really be packing a punch as we get into the early morning hours. There's your 8 o'clock time frame, and as this kind of elongates and really kind of spreads out going into your afternoon hours, this could be starting to form into a fairly significant wind threat going through the Missouri Valley, through Illinois here. And then as it pinwheels across going into your 4 o'clock time frame, you can see it really starting to elongate here, taking advantage of that daytime heating. And as this really expands and explodes, I do feel these could be starting to bow out, and some of these winds could be upwards of 75 and 80 miles an hour. And if this elongates long enough, yeah, it could actually start to qualify as a derecho event. Again, another derecho event possible heading through Oklahoma, portions of Arkansas here. This is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. And as we take you through, you can see it really starting to extend all the way from southern Illinois all the way into western Oklahoma. So that's a long way, eastern Oklahoma here. That's a long ways of a squall line really starting to form with some very gusty winds, and this is bowing out here. So that's definitely an indicative of some very strong winds out ahead of that system, which is kind of a popcorn variety kind of supercells, popping up. With some of these could be turning severe with some hail producer thunderstorms up here into portions of the southeast, the Tennessee Valley, and through portions of Kentucky here. That's about 6 o'clock in the late evening hours. But you can see that squall line. So this extends a long way. So this could be a pretty significant squall line moving through and eventually kind of winding itself down as we get into the evening time frame on Sunday, heading into portions of western Tennessee there, through Mississippi. That will pinwheel across and finally just kind of go through portions of Louisiana, all the way into portions of eastern Texas here, kind of winding itself down as you wake up on Monday morning. So let's take a look at the temperatures for today for the central US. As you wake up this morning, you got widespread 70s. A lot of these areas have been seeing kind of almost daily record high temperatures, if not close to near daily high temperatures. Those 70s extend all the way up into Michigan. These are low temperatures this morning, guys. You know that's not normal for Michigan at 71 degrees. So as we expand and move the needle, you can see this dominant ridge of high pressure just really dominant for much of Texas. I mean, we could be looking at, upwards to upper 90s, back into the 4 or 5 o'clock time frame. All those 80-degree temperatures extend all the way up in portions of Iowa here, back into Illinois. Those 80s extend all the way up into portions of Wisconsin here with those very high temperatures. And then, yeah, as we go through the overnight hours, there's not much really cool air to speak of. You wake up tomorrow morning, kind of the same deal. I mean, widespread 70s. You can see our far northern states, that's where the jet stream has lifted now. So we could be looking at some cooler conditions starting to filter in for them, for Montana, back in the Dakotas, back into portions of Minnesota here with, low to mid 40s as you wake up. And as we walk you through the afternoon hours and probably stop the clock around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're not 90s anymore in Minnesota. We're back in the 70s and 60s, a lot more comfortable conditions that you're normally used to up there for this time of year. But it's all about the heat further south into New Mexico. Unfortunately, the bone dry conditions continue for you with widespread wildfires. It's just dangerous conditions out there, and I don't really expect that to stop anytime soon. Unfortunately, it's just a nasty situation developing. We just need any form of rain out here, and it's just not going to come, unfortunately. We got those hundreds starting to creep in into much of Texas. A lot of these areas, again, experiencing record high temperatures, if not near record high temperatures, because like I said, normal temperature around Dallas Fort Worth area this time of year is about 83 degrees, and so upper 90s is not normal, guys, for this time of year, with widespread 90s for Louisiana, back into Arkansas. And then we get this little mini cool front. You can actually see it trying to come through Oklahoma, trying to come through Arkansas. That'll be on the day on Sunday morning, but or getting into the Sunday evening time frame, but it just kind of washes itself out. It doesn't have much thrust with a middle of May cold front sinking that far south for this time of year. And this will take you through all the way to Monday morning again with widespread 40s up there into the Dakotas and to Minnesota. But let's head east. All right, so let's head east today. So this is for today. Let's take you back. This is your east frame. We're starting to see some showers and thunderstorms this morning, breaking out into portions of North Carolina, back into portions of the Delmarva. Some of these could be actually strong. I mean, they don't have any instability from the Storm Prediction Center, but I would not be surprised if they upgraded this to at least a marginal, even a slight risk for today, with some of these storms could be turning severe as we get into the afternoon hours. So we could be looking at some strong thunderstorms coming through portions of Delaware there, heading through New Jersey, and that will just kind of popcorn variety popping up in the heat of the afternoon across the Ohio Valley there, back into West Virginia, into Virginia and the Carolinas. And you can just see kind of sporadic isolated thunderstorms into the heat of the afternoon as we wake you through this afternoon. And that same system will pinwheel across all the way up into portions of Vermont and New Hampshire, heading up to Maine, going into your morning hours on Sunday. And as we get into your Sunday time frame, this will continue just kind of popcorn variety portions of the southeast, back into portions of the Tennessee Valley there with just kind of popcorn variety thunderstorms. But we could have some stronger storms trying to pinwheel across, into the early evening hours and portions of the Carolinas, as well as Jersey again, with that squall line moving through, going through portions of Mississippi there, going through the late evening hours. And that will be another disturbance heading up portions of the Ohio Valley. Could be seeing some stronger storms pinwheeling across into the overnight hours on your Sunday night, heading into Monday morning time frame. But as we get through and head to the temperatures as far as the East Coast here, we got widespread 60s and 70s this morning. We even saw Caribou, Maine. I mean, Caribou, Maine yesterday hit 91 degrees, guys. 90. They smashed their record by 13 degrees. Normally it was 78 for the record. So we had plenty of heat extending all the way the northern tip of Maine there. So you can definitely see where they have that kind of cutoff low we've been dealing with. That's the only cool game in town across the East Coast there, with widespread 70s here underneath that coastal low. That's bringing the cooler conditions. But other than that, we got plenty of heat even for the east out here. You know, as we walk you through your Sunday time frame, widespread 90s further south. Those 80s creep all the way up into the Ohio Valley into your Sunday afternoon time frame. Then heading into again Monday morning there, fairly widespread 50s and 60s across much of the Mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast. But a lot of the instability just pinwheels across. So it does get active again on Monday with another disturbance moving through. So we could be looking at some stronger thunderstorms. A slight risk is already in place for portions of the Carolinas into Virginia, all the way up the East Coast along the I-95 corridor here, along into New York City, back into portions of Massachusetts, into Connecticut there, back into Vermont and New Hampshire with some stronger storms, because you've been so hot so early. Now we have a disturbance coming in, so we got that atmosphere is primed and ready for more storms going to be entering that area of the country. And let's take you through that Monday time frame. As we wake up on Monday, we got a stronger disturbance moving through portions of Georgia here, through portions of getting into the Ohio Valley, all the way up in here into the upper Great Lakes. And as we move the needle, some of these again could be on the strong side, and that's why they do have that slight risk in place, mainly a damaging wind threat. But some of those winds could be upwards to 60 miles an hour and possibly 65 at times as this pinwheels across into the afternoon hours. 7 o'clock time frame, we'll stop the clock right here. Could be looking at a kind of a nastier line of thunderstorms into your 7 o'clock time frame, going through portions of into New York there, going into Jersey, up through portions of New York, heading into Vermont. And that will finally wind itself down as you wake up on Tuesday morning. But again, that severe threat just shifts back into the midsection of the country. The heat doesn't go away. We've got multiple disturbances that are going to be coming across. So we could be looking at more storms in the midsection of the country here, with the ridge just dominating further south, all the instabilities to the north. So we could be looking at more storms and back into portions of Nebraska as well as into Iowa there. But here's the overall snapshot as far as temperatures for the next 7 days. So this is kind of give you an idea. We got plenty of warm temperatures for the middle of May here, with all that red, that bubble over New Mexico into Texas, all those potentially record high temperatures for much of the South there. But really the only cool game in town is up into the Pacific Northwest and much of Alaska here into British Columbia. So the jet stream lifts well north, and then it's only because these series of disturbances are going to be coming across, kicking off rounds of severe weather and into the midsection of the country. But here's the setup as we get towards kind of the middle of the week for next week. There's your ridge of high pressure dominating further south, the trough well to the north. But as we move the needle, we could have some changes by next weekend, because that trough will be finally on the move and digging further south. And when that does, that'll wipe out the ridge. So you're going to have some heat relief, at least a little bit, as you get into your late Saturday, probably Sunday time frame for much of the desert Southwest, going to be extending into portions of Texas there, especially as you get into Sunday with a fairly strong cold front going to be moving across. We'll say goodbye to the heat wave, at least for a couple of days. But that will also say hello to more storm chances further south. So I think storms do come back for Oklahoma, come back for much of Texas there, with another stronger disturbances in that trough moving in. So the heat wave ends, but that just ends with some stronger storms down there in portions of Texas, and that will end the heat wave going into Sunday, especially as you head into Monday of next week with a fairly significant trough setting up in the midsection of the country, bringing more severe weather for the central U.S. So, hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after storm.